Good day and welcome. Thank you for joining us as we bring you the latest news and developments from Pattaya, Thailand. Tonight, we will take a closer look at the challenges the city has been facing, from widespread flooding and road damage to social concerns and serious traffic accidents. These stories are not only about immediate incidents, but also about deeper issues that affect both the daily lives of residents and the experiences of millions of visitors who come to Pattaya each year. Heavy rain is a familiar problem in Pattaya, but this week's downpour was particularly disruptive. On September 8th, Chonburi Governor Tawachai Srithong made an urgent visit to the city after overnight rainfall caused flooding across multiple neighborhoods. In just a few hours, more than 50 millimeters of rain fell, a volume that quickly overwhelmed drainage systems, despite the presence of pumps and water diversion channels. The governor was not alone. He was joined by Banglamung District Chief Pacharapat Sritanyanan, Pattaya Deputy Mayor Kiatisak Sriwongchai, and several other senior officials. Together, they toured areas hardest hit by flooding, including the Khao Talo pumping station and stretches of railway road. The visit was not merely symbolic. The governor ordered immediate action. Damaged roads had to be restored, additional pumps were to be installed, and more personnel were to be deployed to support vulnerable zones. According to his report, pumping systems were able to redirect much of the floodwater into the sea within 2 hours. Still, some locations, especially low-lying areas such as Khao Noi, Khao Talo, and parts of South Pattaya near Sukhumvit Road, remained waterlogged. Locals largely stayed away from these streets, having grown used to such conditions, but many tourists were surprised and inconvenienced, some finding themselves unable to move their vehicles or reach their hotels. Officials pointed out that progress has been made over the past few years. A decade ago, more than 20 areas were considered highly flood-prone. Today, that number has been reduced to 9, thanks to extensive infrastructure improvements. A 9 billion baht project led by the Department of Public Works is also ongoing. The plan includes large water retention basins designed to slow runoff from nearby hills and to give pumping stations more time to do their work. Despite these improvements, the events of this week highlight the fragility of Pattaya's flood defenses. In one residential area located behind the Four Regions floating market, floodwaters persisted for much longer than expected. The cause was shocking. Electrical cables powering a city drainage pump had been stolen, leaving the system useless. Without power, the pump could not operate, and residents were left to watch the water rise. Private companies stepped in, delivering extra pumps, while Pattaya City quickly installed generators to restore function. Incidents like these underline how both natural and human factors can worsen disasters. With more rain still expected, authorities remain on high alert. While flooding dominated headlines, another issue captured attention for very different reasons: the city's ongoing challenge with homelessness. Pattaya officials responded to a complaint about a homeless man resting in front of a 7-Eleven on Pratumnak Soi 5. Inspectors arrived, spoke to the man, and guided him away from the storefront. Their stated aim was to maintain public order and preserve the city's image as a tourist-friendly destination. The incident quickly sparked debate among residents. Some people expressed compassion, noting that the man had likely sought shelter from the rain and was not causing harm. Others supported the action, arguing that maintaining a clean, orderly appearance is essential in a city that relies so heavily on tourism. Social media comments reflected this divide, with some praising the inspectors for swift action and others criticizing the city for failing to address the deeper causes of homelessness. Several residents suggested that temporary shelters or community work programs could provide both safety and dignity for people in need. The idea of assigning light public duties in exchange for food or shelter was raised as a way to help homeless individuals re-establish themselves. Critics, however, argued that such measures remain only temporary. pointing out that people who are moved from one spot often simply relocate to another nearby location. Others expressed concern about the growing number of non-local individuals, including some foreigners, who have been observed living on Pattaya's streets and beaches. For a city that welcomes millions of international tourists every year, the issue of homelessness remains both a humanitarian concern and a public relations challenge. Officials stress that they are trying to balance safety, order, and compassion, but long-term solutions are still urgently needed. From social concerns, we turn to road safety, an issue that becomes particularly critical during the rainy season. Early Monday morning at around 5 o'clock, Pattaya police and emergency responders were called to an accident on Sukhumvit Road near the entrance to the Chonburi Tunnel. A car had lost control on the wet surface, mounted the median, and crashed. Authorities confirmed it was a single-vehicle accident. One person sustained injuries and was quickly taken by relatives to Bangkok Pattaya Hospital. A roadside electrical control box was badly damaged in the collision. The vehicle was later removed by tow truck and traffic flow was restored. Officials took the opportunity to remind the public that rain-soaked roads can be treacherous. They urged drivers to slow down, increase following distances, and avoid speeding through areas of standing water. Even experienced drivers can easily lose control when roads are slippery. The message was clear. During rainy conditions, safety must come before speed, both for locals commuting to work and for tourists unfamiliar with Pattaya's traffic patterns. Rain not only makes roads more dangerous, it also damages them. After this week's flooding, Pattaya Deputy Mayor Manot Nongyai led an inspection of road conditions along the Khao Talo railway side near Wat Tam. Overnight rainfall had once again left potholes and broken surfaces in its wake. Residents voiced frustration, pointing out that authorities have been applying temporary fixes for years, but without achieving real, lasting solutions. Locals complained that potholes reappear with every heavy rain, some comparing the craters on Khao Noi Road to moon landscapes. The combination of flooding and weak road materials, they said, creates a cycle of damage and patchwork repair that never seems to end. City officials admitted that current repairs are often only temporary, largely because weather conditions make it difficult to implement long-term fixes immediately. They assured the public that permanent improvements are part of the city's future development plans. However, skepticism remains strong. Many residents feel that they have heard these promises before, only to see the same roads break down again and again. The frustration is not just about inconvenience. Bad roads damage vehicles, endanger motorcyclists, and worsen traffic congestion. As a growing city that hosts millions of tourists annually, Pattaya faces mounting pressure to prove that it can maintain infrastructure to international standards. Unfortunately, infrastructure problems are not the only dangers on Pattaya's streets. On 3rd Road, near the entrance to Soi Lengki, a violent motorcycle crash occurred early Sunday morning. The accident involved a black Honda Click and a sidecar delivery bike. Witnesses said the Honda attempted a high-speed overtake but lost control, colliding directly with the delivery sidecar. The aftermath was devastating. A 30-year-old Thai rider was found unconscious on the pavement, while the delivery driver, a 40-year-old Myanmar man named Modin, was trapped in his crushed sidecar. Rescue volunteers and hospital paramedics arrived quickly, providing emergency aid before transporting both victims to Bangkok Pattaya Hospital. Their conditions remain critical. Nearby, police officers discovered a Suzuki Swift with a dented right side. The driver told investigators that he had been traveling from South Pattaya to collect a customer when the motorcycle sped past him and struck the oncoming delivery bike. Debris from the crash was scattered across the road for nearly 50 meters. The collision highlighted once again the danger of reckless overtaking on congested city streets. Police officials said the investigation is ongoing. but they also used the moment to remind all motorists that high speed and impatience can have life-threatening consequences. They urged riders and drivers alike to exercise caution, especially on busy roads like Third Road, where traffic is constant and unpredictable. Taken together, these stories paint a vivid picture of Pattaya today, a city of rapid growth, bustling tourism, and vibrant local life, but also one facing significant challenges. Flooding continues to test infrastructure, theft and vandalism can undermine public safety measures, homelessness reflects deeper social pressures, and dangerous driving habits put lives at risk every day. Officials insist they are working toward long-term solutions, but residents remain cautious, waiting to see if promises will turn into progress. As always, the resilience of the community shines through.